Hi, I'm Lee Moreland, and I want to talk to you today about St. John's Cathedral Library. But you may not know that the library is home to literally thousands of books, not just about religious topics, but about any topic. At the end of this video, we'll post a link to our online card catalog, and I'd encourage you to take a look. I think you'll be impressed. Over the next several weeks, we're highlighting local authors, the best books in our collection. And this week's author is someone who certainly needs no introduction. Jim Haslam is a legendary businessman, a generous philanthropist, and a great Tennessean.
Thank you.
And he's also the author of this book, Co-Piloting. So, Mr. Haslam, thank you very much for talking about your book. Tell me about your decision to write it.
Well, first of all, I've never been introduced as an author before. So, Lee, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to give my wife credit for my writing the book. She'd been on me forever. Then our youngest son, Bill Haslam, found a way to do it. He found a man named John Driver who basically wrote the book. And although I was pressed into writing it, once I did it, it was a lot of fun. And hopefully it'll be helpful to other people in their business careers and in their ordinary life.
Well, it's a great book, and I really enjoyed reading it. You start the book, actually, by talking about someone who was very influential in your life, and that's your coach, General Neal.
General Neal.
Tell me about General Neal.
Well, if he were in this room today, I'd be nervous, let me put it that way. General Neal was a West Point graduate, a brigadier general in the Army, one of the greatest football coaches of all time. And General Neal, he just kind of had everything figured out. And typical of General Neal, in 1950, in one of the most famous games in Tennessee history, we ended up beating Alabama 14-9. They were ahead of us 9-7 with about a minute to play, and it was fourth down about the 2 or 3 yard line. And our fullback, Andy Kozar, dove over for a touchdown. The stadium then seated about 40,000, and 40,000 people were all standing and cheering. And after the game, I was in the training room, and a sports writer was talking to General Neal. He said, General, he said, at the end of the game, it was the last play of the game, Tennessee's either going to win or lose. And he said, everybody was standing on their feet, and I looked over in the sideline, and you were sitting there on the bench. And I remember what he said. He said, I have prepared my team meticulously for any occasion, and all I can do is sit back and watch. Wow. And that was General Neal. He prepared you meticulously. So he was going to sit back and watch because there was nothing else he could do. And that's what General Neal was all about. He had the game of football figured out a long time ago. And we were fortunate enough to play for him. And the lessons that all of us learned playing for him have helped us in our later lives.
Wow. I know he had a huge impact on you and lots of other people. Mm-hmm. One of the things he's famous for is his maxims. Mm-hmm. And you have your own maxims. Mm-hmm. Tell me about those.
Well, once again, I'll give credit to Bill Haslam. He said, you ought to write your own maxims. He said, you talk about General Neal's maxims. And so I did. I wrote them, and they're in the book, and there are 12 of them. And the first one is faith. I think we must believe in the Trinity. We must worship, and our faith must come first. And then the 11 are not immaterial, but, hard work, things like that.
Optimism.
Yeah, I think we were talking about being a leader the other day, and I think the number one trait of a leader, he or she has to be optimistic. What's Christianity all about? It's optimism.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a life after. And if you're going to be a leader in anything you do, if you're teaching a class in church school down here at St. John's, if they're preaching sermons John and all the other people here. If it's all about optimism, and life's about optimism, and you know, we're big Tennessee basketball fans. They lost yesterday as we were filming this, but you know, there are other games. Life goes on and everything, and you have to be optimistic.
That's right. There's a great chapter in this book called What Matters Most.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really fascinating. As you read it, you get a sense of what matters most to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clear that that's a big part of it, your faith, your optimism.
And your family.
And your family. Your family. You and your family have been very generous to the University of Tennessee. And in a couple of months, there's going to be a lot of kids walking across the graduation stage that are going to be starting their life. Some of them are going to go into business and other things. What advice do you have to those young people that are just starting out?
First of all, be optimistic. Work hard. Be humble. Be accountable.
Accountable.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this world, we have to stress today accountability. You know, you have to be responsible for what you do. And if you're going to be a leader, you have to trust your people and they have to trust you. And then you have to hold them accountable and they have to hold you accountable. It's pretty simple. And you know, that's one of my big bugaboos. Everybody tries to complicate things. Now this is complicated. It says right now it'll take you, traffic is light, it'll take you 12 minutes to get home. Now I can't figure that out. But most of life is pretty simple. You know what I mean? Fortunately, I'm not in IT. So if I were, I wouldn't do very well. But everybody tries to complicate things. And life really is pretty simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
It's great advice. There's a lot of great advice in this book. And in the coming weeks, the Cathedral will be sharing some information about an opportunity to see a copy of this book, to get a copy of it. And we'll have a book signing later on in the year. So, Mr. Haslam, this is a real honor for me, and I can't thank you enough.
Hey, Lee, we appreciate you. We appreciate your service as senior warden here. Appreciate all you do. You're very, you're a great lay reader. We always enjoy you when you lay read on Sunday, and thank you for all you do. This is a great cathedral. It used to be a parish. Natalie was born here, baptized here, married here, confirmed everything else, and we're just so fortunate to have St. John's.
I agree 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.